welcome to Classic Car Code. So this is Friday afternoon. We've got quite a bit done on the XK. I've made a aluminium section which you'll see in the video, and obviously had to be made bespoke because of the way that it's shaped and so on. I think normally this is done with a kind of plastic fibre element that you can put on the back, very similar to what goes on the back of the E-Type to put the E-Type hood on. But I decided to use this aluminium, and it's worked quite well. I did a couple of test pieces to make sure it would go, and also you'll see that the brakes are working perfectly now. Excuse me, it's very hot here, it's up in the 30 odds again, but the humidity is the killer. It's not so much the heat, it's the humidity. It's up in 77%. Anyway, yeah, so you'll see that the brakes are working now, and you'll see the reason for it in the video. And over the weekend, hopefully we'll have all this stuff painted up and the tonneau put in place. And on Sunday night I can do another video showing where we're at with it, and hopefully a few other jobs done. So I hope you enjoy the video. So when Jeremy and Toby came to pick up the Mini Special, I got this box sent from Jonathan Skinner, or John Skinner Upholstery, and they sent the box down to their farm and they brought it over for me to just save all the postage and messing around with customs or whatever. So this here is the headliner for the E-Type Jaguar, which he threw in as a freebie. This is for the hardtop on the E-Type, which I've got to get around to. And then he made me some over carpets because they're beige and too light. In fact, the colour looks great, but they were too light. So he's made me these special over covers, and you can see the heel pads darker. So obviously the beige will be under here. I've got to put it all back in, but it won't get damaged because this is on top. And I think that brown against the brown of the wood on the dashboard, I think they go quite nicely together, and it'll keep them in good nick. So the beige will be all the way. We've had everything in, we just took it back out while we were doing some other work on it. But as you can see, and there's the tonneau, and this is now leather, which was canvas originally. And as you can see, it matches up well with the seat colours. And you know, as in comparison to this, which is the hood, this is the inside, and you can see there's quite a stark difference between that and that. So what I did is the original tonneau he made me, this original tonneau on here, he made me, I sent back to him and he sold on to somebody, and then I was going to split the difference with him, but he just said, look, it's been a bit short of time because they've got a new baby, and he said, look, just thank you for being so patient, and there was no extra charge, which I thought was very good of him. So there we go. So that's another job to get on with, but I'm going to take this to a professional upholsterer. It's not something I've done before. I put the hood on this car, on the E-Type, but I'm not so sure about this one. It's a little bit more complex, and so I think I'll leave it to a pro. I can either get him to come up. I think he might prefer it at his workshop, so I might just trailer it down to his workshop and get it done, get the hood put on and everything done by a pro. I think it's worth the extra expense and not screwing it up at this point. I'm just going to start up with, soon I found the problem, and the brakes are working. What's the indicators like? The other side. See the orange. Keep going. Yeah, they're orange, but red. Brake lights. Other side indicator with the brake lights. Yeah, perfect. Great. Okay, so this is the Bible that we use. We call it the Bible. This is this Bernard Weihart book, Jaguar Explored, and you can see the way we had it on, there's the vacuum line coming down, and it goes into the top part of the check valve, and then the other one goes from the servo onto the tank, onto the vacuum tank, which just holds some vacuum, so you've got more than just one press or what's coming from the vacuum of the engine, you know, if it's just ticking over, for instance, or it's on idle. And it was so this one has to go on this side and vice versa. So took it out and checked that the check valve was working, and it was, changed the hoses, and it's perfect. And yet it's the other way around in reality to what it is in the book. The only thing we can think is maybe the original was that setup, and for some reason they've changed it over. You know, I don't know whether it was because of a rust problem, or the valves were jamming, or I have no idea. But anyway, it turns out that swap them over and it's perfect. So there you go. I guess you can't always trust the Bible. You can see that's just pinned on, but that's really what it would look like when it's down a bit. There's a bow that goes in here. You can see this is just put on with clips at the moment. If we turn it over, you can see it's just got the clips underneath it, but that's what it would look like. And then this is tightened with a wooden bow that we have, and you can see that they line up really nicely against it. That should look really nice, and it'd be tightened against here as well. In fact, a bit further up for this edging, this stripping, it will just come up a bit. It's just at the clips, so it'll come up to sort of that level there, right in line. Yeah, which will look great. So the idea we've come up with, this is a piece of 3mm aluminium stripping. It's 3mm thick and 3 centimeters wide width on it. And what we've done is put it through the shrinker stretchers. As you can see, there is quite a bow across there, and Mia will hold it up. This is just a trial piece, this is not the piece that's going on it, it'll be one piece. But you can see, just as a trial piece, how nice that fits across the back. That bit on the end has been, I did that just to see how far a radius I could get on it, but you can see this is going to work fine. So we're going to make this back piece up to these edges in one piece, and then these will be done separately because they're just too difficult. But you can see the bow, if you put that on a piece of, if you put that on the flat against the wall or something, or flat on the board, you can see the convex in it. You can see how much of a convex shape there is on it. In fact, maybe I'll do it that way. Yeah, you can see how much there is. And that's just shrinking it on the inside and not on the outside. It makes a bit of a mess of it, but we can clean that down afterwards. So the idea would be this would go inside the edge once we pre-drill it into the bodywork, and then this would go into this bit on the back. You can see there, that's what it would look like when it's inside. So you can see that there's how it would sit up inside it. And obviously we'll drill that through, and we could pot rivet it, or we could nut and bolt it, or we could do it with a self-tapper with a clip on the back end of it. And that would be hard up against the bodywork there. So that's the plan. Hopefully it'll come together. So this was a straight piece of aluminium, which is 3 centimeters wide by 3mm thick. And I think it was 2.20 meters, 2 meters 20 long, something like that. So I've put it through the shrinker stretcher, mostly the shrinker on the inside of the curve. And as you can see, it's pretty much bob on now. It's completely flush. This is only on with these clamps, but if I hold it, you can see it's right up in line with it, which is where I need it. I think what we're going to have to do is cut it where that rib is there, and the same on the other side, and then make the 2 side pieces. You can see where this rib is here. The problem is, all this is brand new made. I made this out of metal and then lead loaded it all. It's a shame it gets covered because there was so much work put into it. But see where that lip is there? I think what we'll do is cut it around that lip and make a new piece to come down. But I'm quite pleased with that. It's turned out pretty well. So obviously tonneau will be trapped down the back of that, and we'll paint this in the same colour as the interior, and then countersink the bolts. I'm going to use nylocks because we can easily get to the back here, and if it needed to be changed or some arsehole ripped it, or you never know what's going to go, it could easily come off again. It's not a massive deal. So that's the way we're going to go. So this is my made up shrinker stretcher bead roller stand. Obviously these normally would go into a vise, and then you have a big handle and you pull down on it and so on, but I made them with like little legs on them. Just copied the ones you can actually buy, but it's seriously expensive for the foot pedals and everything. So I made one and it works very well, and as you can see it's in the shrinker there, and then what I did was just go along, and as you pull the jaws down, the harder you press, the more movement you'll get with it. But this is obviously 3mm, so it's pretty thick. So that's how I did it, a little bit at a time, took it to the template and tried it. Okay, and the next thing is this is the hood frame. It's like a galvanized part, and you can see it's actually the same color as the interior. They were just left galvanized in the original cars. This is just one coat. It'll get probably another couple of coats, and there's a wood bow to go on the front as well. And the reason I'm doing that is when you get inside the car, if the hood is up, I don't want you to be able to see the frame as obvious as you would if it was galvanized silver against the beige. Again, it wasn't like that. If I took it to a concourse, they'd say, oh no, it's supposed to be galvanized, but I don't really give a shit about concourse cars or car shows. I'm interested in doing the car the way I want it to be done, the way I think it should look right. And so I'm not worried about losing points, because it'll never go to a show anyway. Well, go to a show to see other cars, and but yeah, so it's coming on, it's all coming together. So what I'm going to do now is this long piece that I've made, I'm now going to cut this down on the edges, yeah, I'll cut this down on the edges so it's ready. Go up and check it, and then what I will do is drill all the holes in it, and I'll drill it on that central line there, so I know that they're absolutely centered, and I think I'll do it every 3 centimeters. I'll check the total length and see what I can divide it by. But on that note, I'll put another one up on Sunday, and you hopefully will be a bit more advanced than we are right now. But as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and try and be good to each other. Take care now.